But a world title opportunity, if he keeps winning, has to be around the corner for Dean Francis with his connections with the Frank Warren camp. How do you rate him, Jim?
Yeah, very highly. The thing I like about him at the moment is improving with every performance. He's more confident now. He's trying out things that he wouldn't have tried out in a fight a year ago, and that all comes from confidence. It's a good time to take him abroad. It's always dodgy going abroad. You really have to win convincingly, or you force a stoppage. It's dodgy, but it's a good time to take him. As I say, his confidence is so high.
That's the opponent tonight, Xolani Ngemntu from King Williamstown in the Eastern Cape. He's won 7 and lost 6 in his career to date. Has the reputation of being strong and durable with a lot of heart, but we think he's probably a blown-up middleweight in with a full-blown super middle in Dean Francis, so that could be a factor. WBO Intercontinental belt on the line here tonight. Dean Francis in his short career already has been a British. He is reigning European champion as well as holding the Intercontinental belt. What he really wants now, I'm sure, and it's getting to that time in his career, is the world title shot. He could, of course, possibly or conceivably go in with Joe Calzaghe or Richie Woodall, both British world champions at this weight. Richie, of course, with us tonight with his own title defense to think about against Sugar Boy, not Sugar Boy Malinga, is it, in a couple of weeks' time? Vincenzo Nardiello, I'm getting behind the times here with the summer holidays. Richie's already.
Ladies and gentlemen, up for grabs tonight, the WBO's Intercontinental Super Middleweight belts. Scoring this fight, which will run over 12 rounds, judges Martin, Bukwana and Horn. And our WBO supervisor for tonight's title fight is Mr. Boise Mba. Your referee looking after the two boxers inside the ring from South Africa, Mr. Len Hunt. And our timekeepers are looking after the time and making sure things run smoothly. Timekeepers Stanley Sono and Dan Litchfield. The challenger on my left in the red corner at 76.15 kilos. He's had 13 fights, 7 wins, 1 by knockout and 6 losses. In the red and white trunks, please welcome Xolani Ngemntu. And in the blue corner on my right, the champion at 75.9 kilos. His record, 21 fights, 20 wins, 18 by knockout and only 1 loss. He is Europe and Britain's super middleweight champion and the current holder of the WBO Intercontinental Super Middleweight title. Please welcome the champion from the UK, Dean Francis.
Brendan Ingle, I notice, has been hired to work with the corner tonight.
Give me a good fight. Good luck to both of you. Go to your corner.
Chris Sanagar is the trainer for Dean Francis. Remember your first fight abroad, Jim? What's it like?
I do, yes. Well, the one thing is you don't feel any strain because there's no one to impress. You can actually relax a little bit. I quite enjoyed my first fight abroad. The important fights you want at home.
To the purple trunks of Dean Francis, the stripes of this South African who we're seeing for the first time, Xolani Ngemntu. How good might he be, we wonder. He does have one good win over Soon Botez, outslugging him in 8 rounds. It's a decent fighter. Botez has beaten him twice since then in South African title fights. Francis, when he puts his mind to it, can be very dangerous early on. I remember the start he made against Cornelius Carr. Left hook is a trademark shot with Francis. His dad was an amateur star in the 70s, and when he turned pro, among his opponents was Alan Minter, who of course went on to become undisputed middleweight champion of the world. So boxing's very much in the blood in the Francis family. Oh, he's got him there. This could be quick, couldn't it, Jim?
I was just going to say the first bit of good news for Francis is the style of Ngemntu. You know, he's not one of these flit around the ring type of guys that you sometimes find abroad. He stands his ground and he wants to come close, and he just paid the price there. So this could be quick, but just take your time, Dean, chin down, wait for the opportunity again.
South African was really shaken up, which is very promising for Dean Francis. He might welcome a few rounds, actually. He's been out of the ring since March, that fight with Mark Baker.
I like the way Francis makes use of the jab. You know, it's not just a little range finder, it's a good solid jab. The way a jab should be used to break opponents down and to open them up. This fella moves around as though he can punch a bit. You know, he's looking for openings with that right hand, so Francis just wants to be nice and careful. He's tested his chin, now he doesn't want to test his right hand.
Stop! Stop!
Yes, he doesn't want any unscripted surprises here in what he would see, I'm sure, as a mark time fight in his career.
I mean, he does look a solid type of opponent. You know, he's moving forward, he's not throwing silly punches, he's not wasting anything. So if he doesn't have a big punch, then no one's told him, because he's looking for it all the time.
Impressive opening round this from Dean Francis. Just taking a look at the South African, but at the same time getting in with some pretty significant punches as well. Welcome back, and you just saw a glimpse of that shot from Dean Francis that looked to be on the verge of putting Ngemntu down in the very first round.
See, he has lovely natural balance, Francis. He didn't wind that punch up. The situation arose and he just got the both hands, bang, and went the punch. Lovely punch.
Dean Francis from Basingstoke, still only 24. Purple trunks, the stripes of Xolani Ngemntu, fighting at home here in South Africa. Francis defending his Intercontinental belt here. Dean Francis has built up an impressive list of victims, and that's not a bad right hand again. And it was like a delayed action decision to go down from Ngemntu from that right hand. He thought about it for a while and he felt, yeah, I'm a bit woozy here, I'm going to take a break.
That was another good shot, as I say. Didn't wind it up, feet nicely spread, just leaned back and get back in with a counter punch. Things going his way, just nice and careful. This fella's going to give him plenty of chances to land the big shots, so just take his time and don't do anything silly.
Signs here that Francis may well be capable of stopping this fellow, and possibly pretty quickly too.
You have to be impressed. That is twice he's hurting Ngemntu, but he hasn't rushed in, not in any hurry. He's in control, things are going fine, just taking his time, showing the patience of a world-class performer.
Francis was a good amateur, but he and his father both feel that he would always be more effective as a professional because of his style, and that's the way that it's turning out to be. Lost to David Starry in the amateurs, but reversed that in the pros emphatically.
Yeah, he did it in good style. That was one of his real top-class performances.
He also lost in 2 rounds to Joe Calzaghe in the amateurs. I wonder if he'll get a chance to reverse that one as well.
Well, that will certainly be one of the big fights, one of the big domestic fights. We've seen so many good domestic fights over the years, 4 world titles as well. That would be a good one.
So many good matches to be made in the super middleweight division, of course. Francis right in control early on here.
Ngemntu hasn't solved out Francis's jab. He can't get past it. You can see he's thinking, he's trying things out, he's feinting, he's moving from side to side, but he can't get past the jab. I think quite soon he's going to start throwing a big wide overhand. Oh, there's that
terrific. Left hook come uppercut from Dean Francis, and I wonder whether Ngemntu is going to be able to get up from this. He's up at 8-9. He did get up, but he stopped anyway. Referee's seen enough, and Dean Francis scores a very impressive stoppage victory. He's a good fighter, this young fellow, and is soon going to be knocking on the door of a world title opportunity. Far too good for this South African Xolani Ngemntu here.
Yep, an impressive victory, Ian, and I get the impression he did it in first gear. He didn't even have to move up a gear. He just took his time, picked the shots. They were all perfectly delivered. Nothing was wound up or strained or forced. Everything just happened. He just saw the chances, took them, and I think the referee was probably quite right to stop the fight. I mean, the fellow didn't look too keen at that point. Physically, he could probably have carried on, but I think that the writing was on the wall.
He was out of his class, I think, the South African.
Definitely. I think the referee realised that. So why see fighters punished? I mean, he had made no impression whatsoever from the first bell. Every time Francis landed solidly, you could see the impact going down to his ankles. And the finishing punches, that was the delayed action shot. I mean, the fellow, as you're saying, just out of his depth.
He's a hurtful puncher, Dean Francis. Now 21 wins, 19 inside schedule now.
Yeah, but I get the impression, as I say, first gear, he wasn't even trying. He hadn't even opened up, hadn't warmed up yet. Very impressive stuff.
Couldn't have gone better, that overseas debut for Basingstoke's Dean Francis. In the past, he's had one or two problems with junk food, had to watch his weight, even flirted with light heavy for a while, but I think they've got that particular problem under control, and he is a very dedicated fighter.
Ladies and gents, our winners.